Okay. As preached by the man behind platinum albums like Doggy Style and Dogfather, and former member of Death Row Records, Snoop Dogg, in a radio appearance he did in 2012, they legalized alcohol, they legalized tobacco. What is it going to hurt to legalize this medicinal medical marijuana that's used for purposes of cataracts? Now, if you couldn't tell by the PowerPoint and the quote that I used, I'm going to be talking about some of the medical and societal benefits of marijuana and why it should be legalized. For the past couple of years, I've always been interested in the benefits of marijuana and how it's often misinterpreted by people. And my parents have always been on the conservative side, and they always told me that it was bad, which didn't make much sense to me. So I decided to do my own research into it. And today I will be talking about how this plant is often misunderstood and some of the medical and societal benefits of legalizing marijuana. But first, I'm going to do a brief intro for those of you who don't know about marijuana, which I'm pretty sure everybody knows at least something. Uh, Marijuana is a drug that basically comes from the cannabis plant, and it contains over 100 different particles in it, with called cannabinoids. And the two main ones I'm going to be talking about are CBD and THC. So just to make sure you guys know what those are. And you can often find them in different forms like buds, like the pictures that I have now, or in edibles, oils, and vapes and gummies and stuff like that. Okay, the first thing I'm going to be talking about is the medical benefits of it. And it, contrary to popular belief that it damages the brain, it's actually been proven that it helps improve cognitive function. And studies show that it actually does improve it in adults. In wait, yeah, in wait. As said by lead researcher Dr. Stacy Gruber in a study she did for Harvard University, after 3 months of medical marijuana treatment, patients actually performed better in terms of their availability to perform certain cognitive tasks, specifically those that were medicated by the frontal cortex. And the study reported that patients who took marijuana and filled out self-reported questionnaires reported that it improved their life by decreasing stress, decreasing sleep problems and stuff like that. And next, I'm going to be talking about how studies have actually shown that it helps against cancer, which I'm pretty sure most of you have heard something about. As of right now, marijuana has been tested against 8 different types of cancers, and it helps fight against all of them. I'm going to be talking about breast and lung cancer today. Now, CBD and THC, which are two of the substances in marijuana, have been found to help decrease lung cancer growths by 50%. And CBD itself has also been found to prevent growth of breast cancer cells, and CBD oils, which you can get at which you can actually buy outside right now, has been found to prevent the growth of actual tumors. Next, I'm going to be talking about some of the misconceptions about marijuana. The first one I'm going to be talking about is how you've always been taught in school that it's a gateway drug, which means it eventually leads to you experimenting with harder drugs. With over dozens and dozens of reports that have been made about marijuana, there's been zero proof that it's come out that smoking it or using it can actually lead to harder drug use. In fact, studies have shown that alcohol and tobacco or nicotine actually leads to people experimenting with harder drugs more than marijuana does. And yeah. As said by Dr. Karen Van Grundy, an associate professor of Sociology at the University of New Hampshire, whether marijuana smokers go on to use other illicit drugs depends more on social factors like being exposed to stress and being unemployed, not so much whether they smoked a joint in the 8th grade, because underage smoking and alcohol use typically precede marijuana use. Marijuana is not the most common and is rarely the first illicit drug used. And science has actually proven that the substance, marijuana itself, it's actually not addictive. The part that is addictive is actually the tobacco paper that marijuana is often rolled in blunts, and it's easily avoidable if you change to either bongs or bowls, like the first picture I have now, or if you switch to using rice papers instead, both of which are cheaper than using tobacco papers. And next and finally, I'm going to be talking about how it benefits society and not just the people who smoke, and why you should care if you're not a non-smoker. First, it would help decrease incarceration, which is obviously a major problem in the United States. Since 2000, there have been approximately 12 million people arrested for nonviolent misdemeanor marijuana possession charges. That's not counting the ones who were caught selling it or trafficking it. And with the average sentence of those people who are caught being 1 year in prison, and the average cost of housing a prisoner for a year at $30,000, approximately $360 trillion have been spent since 2000 just keeping them locked up and basically giving them food, giving them stuff like that. And as of right now, that would be enough to pay off our nation's national debt more than 15 times over. And finally, I'm going to be talking about how the government would actually be able to make money from this. It is projected that it would result in an additional $105 billion and up to 1 million new jobs between 2017, 2 years ago, and 2025. And that's just the money that you get from a standard sales tax on it, like 15%, like with electronics and stuff like that you buy now. That's not counting like the products that you could make money from, like edibles, stuff like that, and like medicinal stuff. And just for an example, in a small town in Pueblo County, Colorado, this has been in a study